Welcome to Scott's Gadgets, Games, and Technology. I want to talk about PI, planetary interaction. Um, I know alpha clones can't do it, but it is a good source of ISK, a little bit of generating of ISK if you're willing to set it up, especially with the newest patch that's coming out next week, I believe, on August 15th. They're going to be starting to do away with POS, the player-owned stations or player-owned star bases. They're cutting out, starting next week at the new patch, I think they're cutting out the benefits of having a POS, because with the new engineering complexes and citadels, CCP's trying to get rid of the POSs completely. And eventually that'll happen, but right now they're just going to cut down on the benefits of having one to deter people from putting them in anymore, if you even can, and to try to get people to stop using them, which setting them up is tedious and expensive compared to the new engineering complexes. So that's probably an okay thing. But anyway, with that, there's probably going to be a surge of engineering complexes coming online in game, and we're already seeing an increase in fuel costs for running complexes and citadels, and obviously this all comes together with what I'm talking about, because to create fuel blocks you need planetary materials. So I've set up my planetary interaction with that in mind, and I've got um, blueprints for fuel blocks already in my factory, and starting to create the materials needed to make fuel blocks, in addition to the fact that I need fuel blocks to run my own engineering complex. So as you can see, right now I'm still docked at my engineering complex, but I'm in my solar system that I'm living in is where I've got my PI set up in the planets there. I want to debunk some of these other videos that tell you have to get your PI trained up to maximum to do any good, because that's just not true. As a matter of fact, I had my PI trained up to maximum, and I used a skill extractor to pull off some of those points to make some ISK, because they're not needed. So like I said, there's already some materials in my cargo bay of my ship from last week when I made a run through my PI. I run it once a week usually. So I'm going to undock and quickly run through I've only got 4 planets set up. It's enough to do what I'm doing. If you do it efficiently, you can. I've got 4 planets set up, and I am able to create all the materials I need to make fuel blocks. But at this time, because I'm still working on my engineering complex to set up my factory, or my manufacturing installation, I'm still selling these materials in the market to other players that are doing fuel blocks. So I'm going to open up my bookmarks here. If you see right here, I've got a folder PI, and these are my 4 planets that I've got set up, and I run through them in order. So I'm going to align to the first one, and we'll see here how I do it. And in a little while, I'm going to run to the market, and while we're running to the market with these goods to show how much can be made here and how it's working, I want to go through the skills that I'm using and show what's involved and how that works. So my first planet that I've got set up is where'd you go? Right here. Yeah, so here's my customs office. So I align to my customs office, and then I open that, and then I'll click on the planet itself and get that in my display here, my selected item. Then I'll warp to the customs office, and while I'm in warp, I will open up my planet and check my resources and make sure everything's working fine. As you can see here, on this first planet, I've got 3 extractors set up and 1 factory. along with a launch pad. Um, and there's my command office. You don't have to put your command office connected to everything else. But anyway, I've got, like I said, I've got the three um, extractions and one factory, and I am making reactive materials. I'm making non-CS crystals and heavy metal. From these extractions and this one factory. This one factory is the one that is creating reactive metal. But hold on, it's doing that from base metal. So I'm extracting heavy metal, base metal, and non-CS crystals on this one. Um, I'm turning the base metal into reactive metal, and then I'm pulling that off the planet with, as you can see here, I'm paying what is it, 793,000 to transfer this to the customs office. So I'll do that. This stuff is still running, so I'm gonna leave it. I think I've got them set on an 8-day cycle, and I check them once a week. So I'll come back in a day or so and restart them. But I leave them running. So, and that's what's in my cargo bay now is the stuff that I picked up last week when I ran them. So I'm gonna go back off the surface, back out to the customs office now, and I'm right there. So my warp brought me here. While I was in warp, I was doing the other. It put me 2,300 meters. That's perfect, because 25 and farther you can't do nothing. It's like most things in EVE, you got to be within 25 to pull this stuff off. So I'll grab these materials, throw them in my cargo bay of my ship, just like that. Then I can close this custom office and align to the next one. And that'll put me in line with this number 2 here. Again, I'll open the customs office, and then I will select the planet, and then while I'm warping to the customs office, I'll go into the planet mode, and I'll look at make sure everything's still running, still functioning. This one I've got 2 extractors and 2 factories, and as you can see, I'm pulling off precious metal and water. So I'm converting these raw materials into precious metal and water. That's what I'm pulling. If you want to look up PI to find out how to do all that, what turns what into what, you can do that. This video today is just about how I've set mine up and what my aim is here on making ISK with it. If you want to leave a comment in the comments and let me know if you are more interested in PI, I'll be happy to do other detailed videos about how to do PI. But this video is just about how it works to make ISK. There's a lot of videos about how to do PI basics. In a little bit I will talk about the skills involved and how that all works too. But here I'm gonna another 300,000 to pull these off the surface. So I'm gonna grab that. So we're at about 1 million now to pull up my goods, maybe a little over. So I'll select these, put those in my cargo bay. Okay. Then I'm gonna align to the third one. And like I said, I do not have all these skills maxed out, because to do what I'm doing it's not necessary. And a lot of PI, it's not necessary to have max skills. The only time I think you would really need max skills is if you're trying to do tier 4 or T4 planetary advanced material manufacturing to the tier 4 end products to make ISK that way. But I don't see a lot of profit in doing that unless you're specifically targeting one thing, because it takes a lot of raw materials to get to the tier 4 final products, and the raw materials themselves you can usually make more on in the market than you would the tier 4 products. So here's my my last number 3, and this one again has got 2 extractors and 2 factories. And as you can see, in these factories I'm creating oxygen and I'm creating electrolytes. It's 2 more products that are needed for the final products that are needed for fuel blocks. So here's another 275,000. I'm going to pull that from the surface and head back out into space and see. Let's see, am I close enough? Sometimes you bounce off of these customs office and they put you far enough away that you gotta fly back to get your stuff if you're not quick enough. So I'm gonna grab these into my cargo bay, and see, look, it just put me out too far. So I'm just gonna approach it again, and it'll start to bring me back, and as soon as I get within 25, I can pull these things off of here into my cargo bay, and then head to the most interesting, number 4. Number 4 is not extracting anything, it's the factory. And what I'm doing is all these raw materials I just grabbed, I'm gonna send them down to the surface on number 4, and it goes into my factory of manufacturing the final products needed for fuel blocks. Am I at the wrong? I am. I didn't warp, did I? So let's align back to this. Let's warp to number 3, because I never did warp. Sorry about that delay here. I'm gonna have to warp over there, and that's fine. So we'll see. We'll warp over here, then I can grab these goods and then head to the last one, and I'll show you my factory setup. Like I said, give me some comments if you need more information. If I'm not giving you enough information, like I said, I'm just trying to highlight what I'm doing. A lot of people on YouTube will talk about these like you can get started early, but you need to get these all trained up to maximum to do the most good. And I'll get into the skills here in a little bit and show you that that's not true. You can make quite a bit of IS and do quite a bit of PI without having these skills at maximum for PI. Come on, okay, those are in cargo bay now. So now I'm just gonna warp to the last one, and then while it's lining, hopefully we can grab open the customs office, because this one's gonna look a little different. See, it's empty. I have 2 customs office, or 2 launch pads on this planet. So what I do here is I'm going to open up my cargo bay as well. All the stuff I just pulled from the other one. Stack it all up nice and neat. And then you'll see here in a second what I'm going to send to the surface and what I'm going to keep in my bay. So hopefully this won't bounce off. I'll be within line. I don't have to move too much, and then I can show you more details about what we're doing with fuel blocks, how to get the materials for fuel blocks. I'll open up my factory settings here and show you my blueprint for fuel blocks. So just bear with me here while I get set up on this customs office. Like I said, I'd appreciate this. I'm very new at this, so I appreciate any feedback in the comments that would be helpful, or if I'm doing okay, or if I need to change some things. I know my audio sucks right now, but I will be fixing that soon. Okay, so I need to get back in this customs office, because it did, you see there, it bounced me off, so it sends me away. I'm still within range if I can get this to stop before it sends me too far away. Come on, stop. Stopping, it says, and I'm still at 1,000. If it'll come to a full stop before I hit 2,500, we're okay, and it looks like we're gonna be okay. That's good. So let me open up the factory setting. I'm gonna open up my industrial panel, and in my um, industrial complex. I have my blueprints already in there. Although I'm not manufacturing it at this moment, but I am doing research. See, look, I've got actually my fuel blocks have just been upgraded. So I'm gonna go ahead and deliver those out of the research lab and into my storage, my bay, because they're not needing to be. Now I can go in here and go to my. I'm particularly interested in manufacturing the helium fuel blocks, because not just a few jumps from my system there is some ice fields that spawn, and it gives me what I need to make helium fuel blocks. So as you can see, I'm still doing this research, but if I go here to manufacturing, although it's going to tell me that I can't manufacture yet because I don't have manufacturing turned on in my plant. But anyway, you can see the materials needed. So these four here, strontium, heavy water, helium isotope, and liquid ozone, these are all mined from ice asteroids, and that's what I mine not too far from me. But these items here are the ones that are going to be made from manufacturing PI products. So as you can see, oxygen, here's what I've pulled off the surface already. I've already created oxygen, so that's a finished product that doesn't have to do anything else. Machine parts, those are mechanical parts. That's a finished product that I don't have to go anywhere else to do. Then you'll see here the rest of these. I need coolant, I need robotics, and I need enriched uranium. So, like I said, these first two products here are finished. So those will go straight back to my engineering complex or to the market, whatever I want to do with them. And the rest of these are going to go down to the planet's surface where I'm at now to do the rest of the PI to create the other things that are needed. So let me close this back down, and just for a moment I'll close this because I'm sitting here off of this. So I'm going to before I send this stuff to the surface, I'm going to look on the surface and see what I have there sitting there already, because like I said, this has been running for a week already. Actually, it's been running longer than that, but I was last here a week ago to set this stuff, to check my factory. So here's my factory. You see it just zoomed in nicely right between my windows. So I've got two launch pads, one of them which is what's open already on the screen, and then I've got a storage facility that I'm putting my stuff in, and then the other launch pad is where I'm pulling my products back off the surface, my finished products. So first I want to show you, I've got toxic metal being created from heavy metal. So I'm going to stick my heavy metal in here. Hopefully it's not going to overload my storage facility or my launch pad. So, because I'm creating more than what I'm using. So heavy metal is going to become toxic metal. And then I've got this non-CS crystal is going to become crystal structures. So I'll put that in there. Okay. And then over here, you're going to see that precious metal and reactive metal. So I've got reactive metal here, and I've got precious metal here. Those are going to become my mechanical parts that I can pull off the surface later. Looks like I already did some before. Then I've got another one here with crystalline structures, which is what's going to become from this non-CS crystals, and then toxic metal, which is going to be made from my heavy metal. So that stuff's already being produced into my storage facility from the other two factories, and then it's going there to create my consumer electronics. So then I've got robotics is going to be the consumer electronics that are already being produced on the surface, and the mechanical parts that are already being produced on the surface. Now I need mechanical parts to produce robotics, but I also need mechanical parts to create fuel blocks. So my factory for creating mechanical blocks is splitting the output. So I'm sending 2/3 of it to the storage facility and 1/3 of it to the launch pad where I pick up my products. So I'm retrieving mechanical parts, and I'm also using some mechanical parts to create robotics. You'll see the rest here in a second. And then my last one here, I'm using this precious metal and toxic metal, which is also being already produced into this facility, to get my enriched uranium. So I need, I missed coolant. Okay, so here's the electrolytes, which I've got right here, and water, which I've got right here, and that's going to make coolant, which is being used as one of my finished products as well. So I believe coolant was one of them. Yeah. Let me double check. Or is coolant being made into something else? Let me double check my blueprint. I'll go back to factory. Yeah, coolant is also a finished product. So I've got coolant, oxygen, and some mechanical parts, and then the others are being created on the surface as well as the rest of these. But now these things are all loaded in here, and it's not very much. It's what do I got? 13,000 cubic meters, and my factory is well equipped to handle that. No, it's not. So what I'm gonna do is double check, make sure which ones I need the most. So I need this for the crystalline structures for sure. This, I've got heavy metal. I need some heavy, there's a lot of heavy metal here. I'm going to split that in half. So to split these numbers in half, you hold down shift and then drag away. Ooh, not like that. So heavy metal, I'm going to hold down shift, drag that over here, and it's going to ask me for a number. I'm only going to put half of that, or not even half of that. I'm going to put 20,000. No, 200,000. Because that's a lot more than what's needed on the cell. See, and that almost filled me up. Okay, that's fine. Then I need, this is being created. This toxic metal is going to be created. And like I said, precious metal, reactive metal, precious metal, and reactive metal, that ain't a lot, so that should be able to go in there with no problem. And then, what else am I looking for? I need this electrolyte. That's not a lot, so that'll go in there with no problem. And I need, what else? I need water. Looks like I already have a bunch of water in my storage. Let's see what's already in here that maybe I don't need to put in there. Yeah, water is pretty good. Heavy metal, I took half of that. Yeah, alright, 20. So that's good. I'm not going to put the water or the other because it doesn't look like it's going to fit, and it's not necessary at this moment. So I'm going to leave that in my cargo bay. So I'm going to send this stuff to the surface. It's going to go into this. You saw that filled up right there. Now I'm going to pull those back out and keep them for now. Maybe put them in the market since I don't need them, because I'm producing plenty of that on my extractors. So now what I'll do is go ahead and close my cargo bay for a minute, and then no, let's not do that. Let me go back and open my cargo bay again. Go back off the surface here. Let's open my cargo bay again, and then let's quickly look at the other facility. And these are the finished products that are finished on the factory this week that I can pull off and take with me. So I'm going to grab those back out of there, put those in my cargo bay. Those are done. Go ahead and stack them. I'm going to close this cargo bay now, and I don't need this customs office anymore at the moment. And then I'm going to go back to the surface. Now, the way I've got this set up is the things that I send to the surface, I have to put in my storage facility, and this storage facility routes them out to the other facilities to be processed, and then delivers the final goods to the other launch pad. So I need to go into my launch pad, into its cargo, and tell it that I want to make a transfer. Then I have to click on where I want to transfer to my storage facility. Then hopefully I've got enough space here. I don't know if I'm going to have, but we can check it out here. No, I'm not going to have. So it's going to end up leaving some things in my storage facility. So let's take a look at the numbers here and see. So there's a lot of that. And there's none of that over there. There's some of the reactive metals. Alright, so the precious metals I need for sure. So I'm going to send those over there. This is out. I'm going to send it over there. Um, this is out. I'll send it over there. The precious metals, I I already did. Reactive metals. There's a few. That's a few more. That ain't gonna hurt nothing. And then the rest I'll send to the heavy. See, it's too much. All right. So let's the heavy metal. Did it take any of it? Yeah, it took some of it. Okay. So now I'm gonna make the transfer, and it's gonna send it from that facility to that facility. Now this is full. You can see it's completely full with everything that I need to keep this factory running to make these products that I've been pulling off the surface. Since that's still in there, it hasn't been transferred. Alright, I'll leave it there for now, and then later, next time I come, I can transfer that on over because then there'll be room. So yeah, that'll transfer later. I'm not gonna pay right now to transfer it back off the surface, because every time you transfer to a planet or from a planet, you have to pay tax, unless you have your own customs office. And I believe you can't do that in high sec. You have to do that in low sec or null sec, and then somebody can destroy it. It's a pain in the butt, but it can be done, and that's again something for another video. But okay, so that's it. That's my factory, and that's my 4 planets that I've done PI. So let's start a route. I'm going to come back off the surface, and I have a lot of stuff that I've been doing in Amarr, because I am only about 9 jumps from Amarr. So let's do this. I am going to open up my assets, and you'll see I have some stuff here in Amarr. So I'm going to set destination for Amarr, and yeah, it's 11 jumps. Sorry, I moved my home when I built my engineering complex. It was 9, now I'm 11 jumps. That's okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to hit autopilot. My ship's got my goods, and I'm going to head to Amarr. And now I'm only hitting autopilot because I want to talk about some other stuff here while this is traveling on its own without my interference. People are going to tell you never use autopilot. Bullshit. Oh, excuse my language. But anyway, autopilot is perfectly safe in high sec, and you're going to get ganked anywhere, anytime. But there's nothing wrong with autopilot in high sec unless you're hauling expensive stuff that you really worry about losing. This ship is cheap. The goods that I'm carrying aren't that expensive. I mean, I've got in my cargo bay, it says I've got 12 million is sitting here, but you're gonna see that's another thing I want to debunk. This numbers that you see in your window and that everybody shows you when they're showing you videos that, oh, I've got this much now, I've made this much money. No, that's a joke. These numbers are never correct. You never have as much in your ship or in real ISK as what it tells you that you have in cargo. It never happens. If it does, then maybe I'm doing something wrong. If I am, somebody please comment and let me know. But it says 12.6 million ISK sitting right here in these goods that I'm going to take to market, and you'll see when I get to market that that's not true. It's way less than that. Depending on how the market's fluctuating today, it might be a lot less than that, or it might be a little less than that, but it's never, I've never been able to make what it says I should be making on these windows. So when somebody pulls up a window and says, hey, I've been out exploring for 20 minutes and I've made 150 million ISK, take it to market and let's see what you really get, because that's a joke. Anyway, enough about that rant. Sorry, that's another video. So I'm going to close this again, and I want to show you my skills. I'm sitting at about, let's see, where are we at? We're at 8.4 million skill points. I was up to almost 14 million, and I extracted some off and sold some injectors and made quite a bit of ISK to set up my engineering complex, and I lost 1.4 billion setting up my engineering complex because, like I just told you, you can get ganked anywhere. I was in Amarr and bought an engineering complex and all the modules for it and all the defenses for it, and I loaded it up in my cargo ship full, and as soon as I undocked, I got ganked right in high sec at Amarr, and they had a cargo ship waiting to take my cargo as soon as they destroyed my ship, because they committed suicide to destroy my ship. I don't know if they scanned me quickly and knew how much I had in there, but it was 1.4 billion I lost in 10 seconds as soon as I undocked. But that was a lesson learned. So I don't fill up my ships like that anymore, and I don't travel like that unless I know what I'm doing. And again, that's another video about how to travel and not get ganked with stuff like that. Like I said, I don't have much in this ship now, and there's not much worth. The ship's not worth much, so the chances of getting ganked right now just going to Amarr are pretty slim. But anyway, back to what we were talking about, planetary interaction. So planetary management, you can see command centers. This one lets you set up skill quality command. This lets you upgrade your command center that allows you to put more things on the planet. I used to have it at 5, but it wasn't necessary. You see, to get it to level 5, it's 1 million skill points, 1,024,000 skill points. I pulled level 5 off and took about half of those and put them into a skill injector, and made me 700, almost 800 million ISK off of one skill injector cell. So, you know, skill farming is viable, but you're not going to do it with alpha clones, in my opinion, because, again, skill farming, that's another video. But anyway, so I've got that one at 4. I've got this one allows you to do up to 6 planets. So you automatically start with 1 planet you can do, and then for every skill point in this skill, interplanetary consolidation, it gives you another planet that you can put a command center on. So I'm only using 4 right now for all the fuel block manufacturing I can do. If you're, like I said, if you're getting into tier 4 products, you would probably need all of this. But I had it at 5, but again, I pulled off a couple levels to create some skill injectors to make a lot more ISK. And these other ones, planetology, supposed to increase your resolution of your scans when you're looking for goods on planets, to where to set up your bases and where to set up your extractors. And the same with remote sensing, supposed to increase your sensing strength. Oh no, the distance, so you can do your planetary up to so many light years away. I believe that's what that means. Oh, to do your scan. Yeah. Okay. But these I had at minimum for a long time. I've never had them to 5. They're where they're at now, not because I needed them there, just because I had some time to put them in there and skill them up this far. In my opinion, they're not that important. I haven't seen from what I have trained in them that it's made that much a difference in my scanning on the planet to find my goods to make my stuff. Maybe I could be wrong. Again, if there's a big difference, somebody drop me a comment and let me know, but I don't see it. But anyway, that's what the main thing I wanted to point out here is that you don't have to train these things to 5 unless you're getting into some serious PI manufacturing of some end product goods that, in my opinion, the value of those goods isn't worth the effort it takes to put into them. I can make more money selling the lower level goods than refining them into higher level goods. But again, let me know if I'm wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. This is actual gameplay, folks. That's what I'm trying to convey in my videos, is the difference between theory and practice. I want to show practice because, in my opinion, there's a lot of theory in this game that is wrong, that people are misinforming about. So that's it on the skill points, and you saw my planets, where they're set up and what I'm doing. If you want more details about PI, let me know. I'll be happy to make another video about PI to show that. But anyway, for now, I am going to pause the recording and jump my way through to Amarr and then restart the video so you can see what's happening. So I'll be right back in a little bit. Thanks. Okay, so here we are in Amarr. Just docked. I'm gonna take these goods that I brought with me and put them out of my cargo hold into my item hanger here in Amarr. Oh look, I have a hat there still. Anyway, I'm gonna open up my market window and let's get to business here about what exactly is happening. Let me collapse all these things because they're not necessary right now. Look at my orders right now. Got a few things still brewing. Anyway, first up, I'm going to take a look at the oxygen. I'm going to do a view market details, and you'll see that oxygen, I've set I'll get into marketing later, but just quickly, I've set my marketing up to watch the lowest sale price and the highest buy price. If you set your marketing window, that's how your marketing window should always be set up. Because if you're here to buy something, you want the best price, obviously. If you're here to sell something, you want to get the best price for it. So that's the two that you're always going to look for. And now see, on the best price right now is on this station in this region at 423, and look, they're selling for 420, 6 jumps away, 477 right here. In my opinion, that difference is not enough to put a sale order in to try to squeeze a few more ISK out of this product. For me, it's just easier and more convenient just to hit sell item, make sure I'm on immediate, and I've got the current high price, and sell it, and there's 1.6 million ISK right there. So before I go any farther with that, I need to grab a piece of paper because I'm going to keep track of this while I go, because I want to make sure we're clear on what we talked about just a few minutes ago about what you were looking at in my cargo bay versus what we're actually going to get here. Okay, so this is 1,063,000, and I'm just going to leave off the hundreds because that is pretty meaningless at this point. So I'm going to do an immediate sale on that and get that money, or that ISK, and you'll see it goes into my wallet, which the wallet's kind of thin right now. I know it looks like a lot, but it goes quick. So now we're going to do a view market on water, which again, water is a product that I use in my manufacturing, but I had an abundance of it. Now this one is another story. The lowest sale order on station is 440, and oh, okay, 421 is the buy. So again, it's not enough to worry about, in my opinion. That's not enough ISK to make a fuss over. So I'm going to go ahead and do an immediate sale on this one too. I know a lot of people tell you, oh, immediate sales are lazy, you should always put in a sale order, you'll get more money. I'm sorry, that's another video. We'll get into that. But so I'm making 1.717 off of this one, and that's before tax. So I'm giving this this cargo hold estimate the benefit of the doubt, because after tax that number is going to drop again, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. So sale order immediate, and there's 1.7 million. And then coolant, I'm going to view this market details, and that's selling for on station for 11,999, but it's also 11,222 on station to sell it immediate. So that again, I've only got 300 of them in my cargo hold. I'm going to do another immediate sale on that, because this, if it's just a few hundred or within less than 1,000 difference, and depending on what it is, but if it's less than 1,000 difference on something like this, or in the hundreds if it's less than say 30 or 50, to me the tax and the time it takes to sell it on a sale order isn't worth the little bit of extra ISK you're going to squeeze out of it. So I'm going to get 11.3, actually, yeah, these are higher, 11.363 out of this, which, like I said, that's what, to beat the lowest order, I'd have to put it in about that much to get. I don't play pennies, you know. You're playing pennies, this guy's just going to come back and undercut me again, and then my order's going to sit here and never sell. So I'm going to do an immediate sell on this, and we're looking at 3.340. I'll write that down, and I'm going to sell at immediate. There goes the ISK into my account. And mechanical parts, do another view market details. I've got, it looks like I can sell it for 12,181 and 12,199. So it's pennies. It's not worth the sell order tax. Sell it immediate. Sell this item immediately. 29 of them. 346 million or 1,000. Went in there. Okay. Robotics. View market. These are 100,000, 100,000, 108,000. Again, it's not to me that little 8,000 out of each one of those. I'm only dealing with 45 of them, so that's. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. So I'm going to sell those immediate. Sell this item, robotics. I'm looking at 4.432, 4.432. Alright, so we'll sell that immediately. Boom, that's gone. And then the heavy metal, again, that's a base material from PI, so I don't expect it to bring much at all. Even though I've got 300,000 of them in my cargo hold. Look, they're only selling for 156 versus on state they're selling here for 303, or they're trying to sell them for 303. So now that's a double the price. So that is a big difference. So that's one that I will make a sale order for. I don't have very many orders running right now. I've only got 2 orders, and they're just two items for sale. It's been a while since I've put anything up in the market, and I'll make another video later about about playing the markets like this, because it's interesting. But I think a lot of ISK making YouTube videos put too much emphasis on it. But that's another video. But anyway, I'm gonna sell this one now. Oops. Oh, I must have double clicked by mistake. But anyway, the immediate sell is 1.56, but they're selling for 303. So in order to undercut this guy and make it something that'll sell, that I'm not gonna have to come back in a day and reprice it and all these taxes involved, I'm just going to undercut him, hopefully enough. Because look, he went from 305 to 303, so they're talking about pennies here. These guys are playing with 2 pennies. This is probably the same guy, but this guy dropped 2 pennies. Before that, this guy dropped 40 cents. Yeah, so I'm gonna undercut him, and at 250, and still almost what that's gonna be, 250. It's gonna be from 150. So that's going to be like a 30%, no, a 60% profit. So I'm going to put this at 250. And you notice it turned red because there's no order for that immediate. But I'm going to put it at 250, these 353,975 on a 2-week sell order. And it's going to make me if those all sell at that price, which I seriously doubt they will, it's going to make me 842,000. So I'm going to put that on my estimate, but I still think that's going to be way overpriced for what I'm going to get out of it. And that's, like I said, marketing. Again, it's another video. But anyway, I'm going to put that in as a sell order. There it goes. And you see I'm the lowest price at this time. But I guarantee you within a few hours, or by tomorrow for sure, I'll be undercut by some other people, and I'll have to readjust this price and take another big loss on it. When in the end, I might have even been able to sell at this price that's up here and made profits. But we'll see. So there's my orders. That's in there now, 353,000. So I'm going to close the marketing window with that, and then I'm gonna, and if you remember, it was 12.6 million was the estimate on my cargo hold when I started this mess. So just quickly looking through this to calculate it all up, I've got 800, I've got 9 million with this 800, and this one that's 10 million. So it's around 11 million. So it's a little less, but again, it's less. That's what I was trying to say. I have seen very, very few cases where it ends up being more than what the estimate is, but it's more often than not, it's not. Many times it's not even close. But the only reason I point that out, and that I'm being a stickler about that, is the fact that people are making these videos showing you that they're claiming they're making all this ISK that's in their cargo hold when they're not. Don't be fooled by these people trying to tell you that they're playing for 30 minutes doing exploration or doing ratting or running DED sites or whatever they're doing, and then claiming they're getting all this money out of this cargo that they're carrying, because it doesn't happen. It's ridiculous. So that's it for this video, I guess. That was just what I wanted to point out. I'll have to autopilot back with an empty ship. I have another, you know what, maybe I'll stay here tomorrow, and next week I will cover station trading. Not, or route trading, sorry, not station trading. I'll do station trading at another time, but route trading I think is more interesting. I used an alpha clone. You can do route trading with an alpha clone and make some fairly decent ISK, but you need to do some missions and stuff to get a little bit of ISK first to be able to buy the goods to do the route trading. And route trading, I'll show you in the next video. You can do some route trading and it's not too time consuming, and you can make some pretty decent ISK. I'm thinking like 10 million ISK in the time I just spent doing this video. But anyway, and I just made 10 million off of PI. So PI is viable. You can make some money off of it. And again, I've got my planet set up to make the goods that I just sold, and those goods are what you need to make fuel blocks. If you're going to do manufacturing, fuel blocks are going to be a viable product because of the new engineering complexes that everybody's trying to be buying up, because the POSs are going out. Like I said, the 15th of this month, which is next week, they're making it. The POSs are going to take a big hit on their viability and what they're offering or what they can do, and the reason that people have got them. And eventually, I don't know when, but CCP is going to get rid of them completely, because we've got engineering complexes that are they're not very cheap, but they're fairly inexpensive to put up compared to a lot of other stuff. If anybody needs a men's exploring hat, I've got one that I'll sell you in game. But anyway, I'll put some comments in with what we talked about on the comments of the video, on the description of the video. My links, please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions on what I'm doing or any things I'm doing wrong, please give me a comment. And if you have any ideas for videos you want to see or any information in the game that you're having a hard time finding, I'm happy to do some research and put together a video for you. Let me know. Till next week, fly dangerous. Have a good one.